Welcome back to my fellow traders. Hope everyone is having a good trading week so far. We're in the Ferrari, we're just about to head off to the gym, and then afterwards we can get stuck into how I use Head and Shoulders in my trading. Quick turn of the key. The car has finished its cold start. Let's hit the road and take you guys in for a leg session. Sam's jumping in. You want the boot open, sir?
Yes, please.
Boot is down here. Can't do nothing, yeah? Every time I say gym, he doesn't know what I'm talking about. Are you coming to the gym to train muscles?
No.
No, why not?
I'm on my fucking training course.
What, that training course that you can't stop coming to the gym? So that's one DOS of phones. He ain't coming today. Let's see if Marcus is coming. So you keep friends accountable, innit?
Welcome to the O2 messaging service.
No.
The person
I didn't really get to try out my tyres too much. No, what annoyed Silverstone? No. More about the wing falling off and then breakdown. So big leg session coming up. So let's smash some legs out. Let's feel pain after it and get back on the charts. Leg session complete, we're back in the Rari, so Sam's driving us home. We'll see you on the charts. Right, we're back in the office. Let's go over the head and shoulders. For my example, I've got my back testing from this morning. So this is what I added into the community, 4 or 5 hours ago when I've done my 1 hour back testing, which I do every day. So I recommend that to all traders, do 1 hour a day. It keeps you in the market, and I try and do it on 1 pair per week. So this week is AED CAD, and I'll be doing AED CAD for 5 hours this week, 1 hour a day. So that helps you trading. I've found that a really big impact. If I don't do that, I end up placing silly trades and not being a profitable trader. So that's a big key thing for me to do. This is what I added in this morning. You can see here we had 4 trades and they all had 25 pip stop losses. So that's what you get when you back test the same pair. You understand what the characteristics of that currency pair is and what size stop loss you would need. 3 of them trades hit TP and 1 of them hit stop loss, and we had a total of 14% on that. Overall, that was over a 2-month period on the back testing. So obviously if you live traded that, I'd have only taken 4 trades for the 2-month period, or 2 trades per month. But yeah, that's a really, really good return for the fact of the we're just doing 1 currency pair and 1% risk on all the trades. Let's go over to the trading view. I've now replayed back to the time I did this, and this was, the first trade was placed the 30th of January 2022. So we've gone back just over 3 years in data, and then we stuck to run from weekly time frames down. So I do weekly and daily for the zones, the support and resistance, a 4-hour time frame for my structure, and then 1 hour time frame for entries. Sometimes I will do 15 minutes, but I find the 1 hour a little bit more stronger confluence. So to start with, again, we've got our weekly support and resistance marked out in the 2 grey zones. And then once we've got them marked out, I then want to look for some structure. In this example, we're looking for head and shoulders and inverted head and shoulders. So we've got both here. That's why it's a really good example, and that's why I'm showing you it. We'll start with the head and shoulders. Price come up and tested it twice. If we go on a daily time frame, you'll be able to see you had these really, really big daily high tests where price had pushed all the way up and come all the way back down. So that's given us good, strong signs that price is going to reject this resistance zone, and then we can look for short trades following on from the structure. So we go back to the 4-hour time frame on this. And what you can see is price come up here and made this higher high, come back, made the higher low, and then pushed all the way up to test the zone. We made 2 higher highs here, and then price come all the way back down to create a new lower low. So we've had a trend change. It's come back into what we had marked is the neckline. So I marked the neckline to the previous lower, that's a lower high, and then we've got a lower low. That then got a left shoulder head. There's going to be a double head there because you've got a double top on the head and shoulders, and then over here we've got our right shoulder formed. So we'll be waiting for that pull back all the way up into here. This was perfect, a lovely setup because price did just take out this. So if I show you now what I would normally look for on an MSB setup would be that price on the right shoulder pushed just above the left shoulder. So you can see the left shoulder highs here, the right shoulder highs just took them out, and then if we then drop to the 1 hour time frame, it's taking me back to there, we would have had an entry in this lot, but when I replayed back, I had already missed past that, so then we could only take an MSBC setup, so that's what we took. So once we've got the head and shoulders pattern marked out on the 4 hour time frame, I normally wouldn't have any sort of structure on the 1 hour time frame. It's just not a big enough confluence, so I always want something on the daily or the 4 hour time frame, and then we use the hour and the 15-minute to get our entries and fine tune them. So we've got our 4 hour structure here. Price pushed all the way down, a little bit further than I would have expected for AED CAD. I'd have expected more of a pullback into, where is my path? There it is. I'd expected a big push like this into this zone where you can see it found a little bit of sensitivity and then pull back into this to then go short down to this area. Price did not do that. Price then come all the way down a bit further, but it pulled back to the 4 hour 50. That is lovely. If it would have pulled back into where I previously looked at, we'd have had the neckline and the 4 hour 50, so we've had a double zone. But at this point, price did pull back to the 4 hour 50, and we had that lovely rejection. So we dropped down to the 1 hour time frame, and I'll show you what I used to enter that trade. Also, this is not quite right. That should have been right down the bottom there, and that's where we entered there. So just move that about. So we go to the 1 hour time frame. Just going to jump us forward a little bit. Yeah, we'll go back over to where we was. Now that our Starlink has loaded, as you can see, I've then looked at, we've got a 1 hour time frame head and shoulders on our 4 hour time frame head and shoulders. So on this pullback, we've got a little mini 1 hour head and shoulders, and that's what I used to get in. So we've got double bubble on this trade. You can see price pushed up once, created a higher high, higher low, new higher high, and then price come back to create an equal low, and then we come back up this candle here. We had that evening star, so we had the push up, the big high test, and that engulfing candle, and that there is what sent me short on this trade. So we had stop loss at 25 pips just above the high, and also just above that 4 hour 50. It's done a runner. Where was it?
Make sure you get your back testing in daily.
That's what I was saying. If it's not, so you can see we had just had our stop loss just above the 4 hour 50. Was a bit of a tight stop. Could have had a 30 pip and played it safe. Because I know the currency pair, I put a 25 pip stop on this. And as you can see, we run that for a 1 to 5. Actually, 1 to 5.1. It's all going all over the place at the minute. I'm going to have to do the replay again. 1 to 5.1, and that just allows, when you've got bigger accounts, the extra 5.1 will allow for the commission and any like miscellaneous spreads. So then I actually make 5%. So on a £100,000 account, I'll be looking to make £5,000 on this trade. It really annoys me when I make like 4,750 quid. So I put the extra 5.1, and that will cover everything. So I make the 5,000, because that does start to irritate me a little bit when that happens. So you see, that was a really lovely setup, and price just absolutely sunk all the way through. It still did take a little while to get there. So that was the 13th of January. And we never hit TP until the 19th of January. It was over the weekend, but yeah, that's the days we're looking at. What's that? 5 days of actual trading that trade was open for. But for 5%, that is a lovely trade. Not always going to happen like that, and you will see that in the next examples. That price sometimes can come either into a loss for a little while, or just stay at entry for a very long time before moving anywhere. Then what we had was a second pullback into. It's doing me again. There, bear with me, people. So we had the second pullback, where price obviously hit the weekly support zone and then pulled back in to test the 4-hour 50 for a second time. From my experience, I knew that price was then going to go back and test that support zone for a second time. A lot of time, everything always goes in 2 waves. So price will always pull back twice, or will always test the zone twice. So I was looking in for a short 1 to 2. It was a little bit short on my stop loss. Probably could have had a 35 pip stop on that bad boy. We had a 30 pip on that, and we got taken out at a -1% or £1,000 on a £100,000 account, depending obviously what account you got. If you got £1 million, you'd have lost 10,000 on this trade. But then obviously if you was looking the game back, you'd be making 20,000 or even 50,000 on the bigger accounts. So yeah, that was taking me out. The price did go the correct way I wanted to. So if we'd have had a 35 pip stop, if you look here, if I went up for 35 pips, where am I at there? We then would have hit TP. Absolutely fine. So that would have been, it's there. We knew the market was going the correct direction. I knew my setup was correct. We just got taken out by a couple of pips, and it happens sometimes. So as a trader, you got to understand you're not going to win everything, and you will be taken out of trades. A little bit frustrating when you're taken out instantly as soon as you enter the trade, but that's what happens, and that's the part of trading that we've all got to learn. And if you don't learn that, I'm afraid to say, you won't become a trader. Right, so now we've done the head and shoulders. Let's go into the inverted head and shoulders. So what happened here was price was now on the weekly support zone. So price is obviously, the zone is supporting, is carrying the weight of where current price is. As you can see, price did break through below that, and a lot of amateur traders or beginners would have looked to have gone short here, but we didn't have the confirmation and the big enough time frames. As you can see, price did come down. It closed below that on the 4-hour time frame and then pulled all the way back up, and it tested that 4-hour 50. So a lot of traders would have tried to get in here, so something like that, and would have gone down to this next zone. You probably would have gone on a 1-hour time frame and got a fine-tuned entry, but then you got taken out of that instantly. Where I like to wait around, when price is around the weekly zones, wait for it to breathe and let it show you what it's going to do, instead of rushing in and thinking you're going to miss the trade. There will always be another setup and another trade. So sometimes it's good just to sit back and go, actually, I'm not 100% about this. It's not actually met my 100% trading plan or my trader's checklist, and just sit and wait. So that's what I did here, and then you can see price actually pushed back up, rejecting the weekly zone. We come back up through and broke above the 4-hour 50, which is lovely confluence. The price is now going to go for longs, and then what we did, a lot of bearish movement coming in. Sorry, a lot of bullish movement coming into the market, and price created the inverted head and shoulders. So we then come up for a double tap of this previous zone, so creating an equal higher high, and then price pull back to create a higher low, giving me that right shoulder on the inverted head and shoulders. So then we fine tune our entry, drop down for another 1 to 5. So on the 1-hour time frame, we waited for price to pull back. It tested once, as you can see, with that lovely big strong wick, but there wasn't a massive great entry here. We had that engulfing candle. If I zoom right in, we had the engulfing candle here, but we had that really big high test as well. That price come all the way back up to there, and then it come back. So I opted to wait a little bit longer and let price show me what it was going to do, because price could have easily just carried on pushing back down to test the weekly zone for a second time. Price didn't do that. It come back, and we managed to get a lovely entry here again on another morning star. So price is moving to the upside or to the bullish, and we got a lovely 1-hour time frame entry here. Also, another little tip for people entering on the 1-hour time frame, and especially on the morning and evening stars. When the price closes on the 1-hour time frame, so you've got your high test or your low test, and then you've had your engulfing candle. When price rolls over at the 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, whatever it was on the hour close, give it about 3 or 4 minutes, and what will happen is a lot of people will end up closing their trades if they're just scalpers, and then price will pull back a little bit. As you can see here, price give me that evening, that morning star, but then price did pull all the way back, so I managed to grab an entry a little bit lower. It's not going to happen 10 out of 10 times, but probably 7 out of 10 times. Price will always pull back a little bit further back in your favour before then cracking on. So obviously don't be trying to wait for it to pull right back into like another zones, but it might move 5 or 6 pips, allowing you just to get a bit better stop. From there, this again, we had a little bit of a price moved about a little bit around entry, and we come back to test entry twice there, twice, and then it pushed back up again, and all we went straight to TP. With all my setups on AD-CAD, I'm putting stop loss to entry at 2%. So once price moves its way into 2%, I'll put stop loss to entry. That's just allowing enough breathing room for price and also for spread. But then I am then making the trade risk-free. So what I mean by stop loss to entry is I go on MT4, and then whatever my entry point was, I then put that as my stop loss. So if price ever comes back to the entry, I don't lose anything, but I then also don't gain anything. But for my strategies, and for me, that works better. It's a little bit more risk-free and also a little bit more controlled from myself on trades. So that comes straight to TP. But that was an MSB setup, so market structure and the breakout. That was the breakout push through the neckline. And then we managed to go an MSB-C trade on this as well, where we had the pullback and the continuational push again into the next zone. But as you can see, we had that lovely pullback right into that neckline and also into the 4-hour 50. So this is where the 4-hour 50 is a beautiful EMA. Everything always pulls back to that, especially on pairs like AD-CAD and Euro USD. You can really use that to get your stop loss behind and have that as a really strong barrier. So yeah, you can see price here. We had a lovely entry on that, and stop loss was way out the way, and price pushed up. But then price did bumble around here for a very long time. So we entered it on the 11th, and price didn't actually push until the 15th. So that was obviously over the weekend, but 3 trading days that price just actually stayed around entry or was in a loss. And sometimes it just helps to set and forget and don't be looking at trades, because at some point this trade would have been nearly 0.75% in loss, so £750 loss on a £100,000 account. So you just got to set, forget, and trust in your strategy and in your trader's checklist that price is going to go your way, and if you get taken out, you get taken out. So we're going to run our time frame quickly. And as you can see, price did bumble around there for a little while before pushing off, and then it pushed all the way up. But it did take from the 11th to the 22nd, so that took 11 days for that trade to hit TP. But for a 1 to 5 was beautiful. So yeah, for the 2 month period, we made 14% on this setup itself on the 2 head and shoulders. So that's there how I use head and shoulders to trade in the forex markets, and how I also use the EMAs as barriers. So hope you can learn something from what I've learned myself on the back testing. And remember, try and get your back testing in every single day for at least 1 hour on a single currency pair. So try and fine tune your currency pairs and not have all 27. Try and break it down to 4 or 5, because that will make you a better trader. If you want more trading education content, head over to the Limitless Trading Club YouTube channel, where I post a new video every Monday at 5:30. Bosh. Day done.